Compliments of the season. Can you even believe it's December and the year 2025 is wrapping up already? Just yesterday felt like it was Happy New Year, and here we are, and in a couple of days it will be 2026 and the new year again. So really, what's your year been like? I hope you've had a good one. What's been your highlights, personally, professionally, family levels, all round? I hope you've had a very good year. As you can imagine, for me, love and life has been one of my greatest highlights of the year. And it's one of the most exciting things I've got to do this year. And yeah, I'm just very grateful that you were here with me and we've got to do this together. So you may have just joined us very recently, and you're very much welcome. I'm so glad that you're part of the community, and I'm really happy to have you around. Maybe you've just joined, in December or along the line as we went along. And if you've been here from the very beginning or for much longer, then yes, we really do appreciate you. And honestly, thank you very much for sticking with us, and most importantly for sharing and spreading love with us, because that's exactly what we do. That's what we believe in, and we believe in changing the world and affecting lives and impacting humanity and making our world a better place, just through spreading love and kindness one day at a time. So thank you for doing this with me all year. Now, this is just our year's roundup. I thought I'll just, come around and just share with you some of what we've been through the year. And I mean, it wouldn't be possible without you. So thanks a lot for being a part of the vision. So, Love and Life movement started in February this year. Oh God, it feels like it's going to be a long one. So please sit tight. Maybe grab some popcorn or a drink or something. And let's just have fun with the story. So in February 2025, precisely on the 28th of February, we launched the channels, like our Facebook and Instagram pages. It was such a big move. I mean, oh no. Yeah, for some of you who know me, you would know that, I recently had a friend ask me, but what even got you out of your shell, like, are you on social media? How are you that? And I'm like, well, I think it's really just a passion for, families and all. Like, we've got it so wrong for so wrong for a very long time. And I felt any little to help, any little we can do to make the world a better place, then let's just get started. Because when good people do nothing, then the world gets worse, bad things happen basically. And so my love for career, for career growth and for family, and just for, being the best version of yourself is really what drives me. And that was the motivation initially for starting Love and Life. So it's really all about love. It's all about life, like the name implies. And so until February, it's such an interesting story. So until February, I didn't know I was going to do that. In fact, as of January 2025, if someone had told me, hey, look, this is how you'll be wrapping up your year, I would have just laughed it off and be like, oh, come on. No, not this reserved girl. No, I'm never doing that, But interestingly, it's a vision, like some of you may know from our previous, editions. It's a vision that I've had for several years. And because of, just being myself and being, loving my quiet life and my little space and just my privacy, I just really pushed this away again and again and again. And it felt like I was never going to do this. And then come February, like mid-February-ish, oh no, I can't tell the story without mentioning, some very special people. Oh God, I still believe in the power of mentoring. So I do have a couple of mentors. And if that's one thing you take out of this, then yes, it's something that actually really drives you to do better and to achieve more when you have people that have gone ahead of you that you can rely on. So the person I'm going to be speaking about, she wouldn't even know I'm talking about her until she gets to the point. But yeah, so this lady, is someone who I look up to. So this lady, I met her when I lived in York, England, and we hadn't been very close. She had just moved to York for a couple of months before I left York. And during that time, I just really liked her personality, her charisma, everything about her, how she carried her family, how dedicated she was to service, to, I would say to my husband, look, that's my favorite couple each time I see them, pass or something. And I'm like, oh God, I just really love this family. There are just people you see and you're like, this is just it. So, I mean, when you've been through or when you've experienced or seen a lot of, things around you and you're passionate about, families or marriages or, life and all that, and you see the stark difference between, should I say darkness and light, or between getting it right and wrong, then, there's just this joy springs, that you springs up within. So that's the sort of thing. I just really loved watching this woman's life, emulating anything from her or just really admiring her. So she was basically just someone I really admired. And so we moved out of York, and it was like, oh, well, I didn't have so much time to get very close to her, even though, yes, we were more or less acquaintances, or like we would speak once in a while. But yeah, I really wish I got closer, basically. And so sometime in February, I called, we had like one of those our little chats, and, we're just talking. So she's one of those people that, I don't know, you may have a friend or like someone like a mentor or, someone you look up to who you start speaking to, and it's almost like you should just grab a jotter and a pen, because there's always something valuable that you will get from that discussion, even just a casual chat. That's how much value this woman has to offer. And so it was in the evening. I think I was even in the kitchen or something. I was just busy around my day and everything. And we called, we were talking, oh, how are you? How's the family? We were just having the normal casual chat. And then in the, expected tones, she started talking about like family, about children, about all the interesting things. And I'm like, oh. And at some point I paused and I said, how do you even do all of these things? So she runs the Empowered Couples Forum. Lots of you in York would know her, and like some of the people who know me would know her too. I'm sure now she realizes, oh, it's me you've been talking about. Yes, it's you, Sister Bethel. So yes, she's one of the, like, she wouldn't believe that she really cheered me on to this movement. And it was just that one conversation. So prior to this time, lots of things had been aligning already from, even the algorithms were already chasing me with stuff. So I'm always all around family stuff and all of that, tech and career and all that. And then my husband would show me things, I'll talk to people, I'll talk to friends, and, the different conversations just really kept pointing to it. And at the time, I never really, it didn't click really that it was time and this is it and all of that. I didn't even have a name. I didn't have anything, for it. Even though I'd had, things written down at some point that, well, this is a nice stuff to do and all that. And so on that blessed day when I spoke with this lady, and, when we kept talking on and getting lots of advice and value from the conversation, and then she said something, or I then asked, like, how do you even do all of these? You're running the Empowered Couple Forum. You're always, out there on socials. You run like Sip and Paint, monthly couples webinars. You do like events, physical, online, all sorts. And it's all really to spark romance, to help couples build better relationships, and it's like, wow, how do you do all of that? The interesting thing is that she's a nurse. Some of you would know I'm from the medical field as well, so I can totally understand how busy this woman is. She's a mom of 4, and personally I would have all the excuses like, oh no, but I'm this busy. And when we started talking, and she said, look, if there's anything you want to do, just get it done. And I'm like, but how do I manage? I've got 2 little, young girls. How do I? And she said, look, I felt like, okay, I've always said maybe when they're a bit older and I can, maybe a bit more independent, then I'll have some more time. And she said, if you can't create time for it now, you still won't do it tomorrow. So just prioritize. She sends me some materials, she sends some stuff over after the call, just things around. It was just really inspiring from that conversation. And then after the call, I sat and I'm like, wow, like it just really got me all spurred up. And I'm like, no, I'm not waiting any longer. At the time, like I said, I didn't have a name for this movement. But after the conversation, still meditating upon everything and, trusting God for direction and all of that, this then came forth. So that was the birth of Love and Life. Somehow the name came. So I got my jotters back. I started reading through, past stuff that I'd written and all of that. I called a friend of mine. So she's a childhood friend to someone who I hold very dear to my heart. I do want to believe that, she's got something to enjoy from the movement so far. Of course, I know that because she's also very enthusiastic, very passionate, and we've just really built this movement from the ground up. So I called her and I said, hey, look, babe, we have to do this. Like, this is something that has been on my mind, and like, it's time right now. I'm not waiting any longer. I don't know how to do this. I have no clue about social. Like, I had literally never, created a page for myself or done lots of stuff. So, and I'm like, I don't even know where I'm starting or what I'm doing with this, but we are going to get this done. And when I started speaking and I told her this is what it covers, it's about family, it's about marriage, it's about love, it's about parenting, it's about, family growth, and, it's about career transitioning, it's about just everything life. And, I started talking, it will have different sections. We will do this and we will do that. I have no idea. I have no plans or strategies right now, but I'm just pouring everything to you as it is in my head. And she's like, wait, I've been waiting for this. I'm like, hang on a sec. What do you mean you've been waiting for it? And she goes, yeah, she doesn't know how, but like, she just thought, she knew somehow that this was going to be at some point. And, it was almost like it's been long delayed. So come on, let's do it. And I'm like, okay, of course. So let's get it running. So it's like, do you know what? So I think I spoke with Bethel maybe on the 20th, 21st-ish of February. And on the 28th, this channel came to be. So thank you so much, man. I know that. I mean, I'm calling you out like this, but I just can't help but do this. I've always been meaning to. I've never even mentioned this to you privately, like that this was what, how Love and Life got birthed. But yes, you shared this vision, and I'm eternally grateful to you for that. I'm so, you don't know how much you inspire me. And I mean, I bet there are a lot of other people that you may not even know how much impact you've made in their lives. But yes, you shared this vision on. So credits to you for that. Right. I think I've spent so much time just giving you the story. So let's get into the roundup for the year. So this was us in February. We created the channels. We got started without our logo and everything. So Precious, the person I was talking to you about, when I said, look, we're going to build this from the ground up, and she just cut the vision straight up. We started running with it. So she's designed my logo. She's, she already had soft skill, some skills with, social media management and all of that, digital skills and everything. So she took the vision, she started working on it, she got the logo, we started talking very frequently, and before you knew it, like, we had the page running, we had the logo on, we had a profile picture, and I'm like, okay. And from that point on, like, the inspirations just started flowing. It was almost like every single day I had new ideas. I had, my creativity really just exploded. And, I started writing all the poems. It's something that I've always wanted to do. My writing, all the things that I had hid, or like I just silenced, they all started coming back. I found myself writing. I found myself being able to, I'd never sat in front of a camera to say, okay, look, I'm going to do this. I remember the very first time I tried recording. So I was like, well, okay, I don't even know what I'm going to say, but let me just try recording something. And I put the camera up. I did like probably up to 40, 50 videos. It was so interesting. And most of it was just hello, like trying to introduce, and I'm like, no, I can't do this. But look, here we are today doing like 5-10 minute stuff, writing. And it's been a year of real immense growth, and I can't be more grateful. Honestly, I can't. So this was us in February. We got the vision, the tagline, or if you watch our very first video, you'll see when it came up. And I was just really talking about, so I thought I was just going to do a freestyle, just really talk at ease about what I'm going to be building without even knowing fully. And I know in that video I did say I would look back in years and be like, oh wow, look how far we've come. So that was it. And I was rounding up the video and I was like, oh, it's all about love, it's all about life. So keep living, keep loving, and then the lines just came. So it's like, keep loving, keep living, it's love and life. And I was like, wow, that's nice. So that was it. So basically everything just really got built up from that point on. And March came. Obviously it was just very close to the end of February. So March came, we carried on. I wrote my first poems, we published those, something that I'll never really imagine myself doing, like putting out my content out or something I've written. And I'm like, okay, it's not as, it's not as bad as I would have imagined. So honestly, if you think you can't do a thing, but you really do want to do it, and you have the passion, you've got the drive, and there's a good reason to do it, give it a go and see. You'll be amazed at how much you actually can do. Imposter syndrome is one thing that we all really deal with, and trust me, I've got a lot of it. I always say I'm not the bravest person or the most confident person, but see where we are now, and it's all with little baby steps. So yes, get going with whatever it is, and whatever point, the story catches your attention, then yes, pick up whatever you can from it, because so that's us. And then February came, or rather March came. We went on through. So you would probably think, well, maybe I'll just put out one content and then that's it, because I don't even have a direction or anything. I'm not sure where I'm going. But then somehow we managed through March, and then on the 28th of March, I'm like, whoa, we're 1 month. So we put out our first month anniversary to say like, thank you. And at this point, we already had a few people liking the page or, following the page. And I'm like, okay, so someone actually finds this helpful. And that's the reason I'm saying, if you've been here since then, I'm really very grateful to you. I don't know how much to express that, but yes, thank you so much. And so that was us in March. We did our first poem, we put out our first posts and all of that. So there were lots of firsts in March. And then in April, we got another great idea. So it was Easter. We started thinking, okay, we're a love movement. We can't just talk about love. Like, love is about giving. Love, it's beyond just words. Love is an action. So how can we consciously portray love and show what we stand for? And that was how the Love Reason Challenge was born. So we did this first giveaway campaign for the Easter, and it was beautiful. It was surprising. You think, oh, well, maybe it's just one of those things you put out that nobody responds, but yes, we did get responses, surprisingly. And you would just see a heart of love. Honestly, human beings are not, there's a way the world looks, and it makes you want to think that there's no hope for humanity, or like we've gone so down the drain, or like the decay around is just so bad that. But trust me, there are good people on earth. There are still lovely, kind human beings, and there's still a reason to believe in humanity. And so April came, and it was just an outpour of kindness, all around the world. And I'm like, oh, this is so exciting. You'd see people even sharing and inviting others to join the challenge. You'd see people who were very committed every single day, sharing their acts of kindness. So it was just really beautiful. And of course, we had to reward them, not because, it's anything huger, because, it was just really a token to say thank you for spreading love with us. And so that was us in April. Now May came. Obviously there was Children's Day in May, so again it was all about community growth. And then on Children's Day we thought, okay, let's do like a little game or another little giveaway. So we had the Little Hearts Big Lessons challenge. and we were really taking everyone back down memory lane. Oh, it was so beautiful. Like the stories shared, there was lots of fun stuff. It was just very, very lovely. So we had people sharing lessons from their childhood. We had, so it was just really expanding how much children can actually teach us and how much impact we make in their lives. And I remember talking about my superhero, my mom, how much she impacted my life and how much influence she's had on who I am today. And I really can't, stop talking about her. When I talk about mentors or role models, she's definitely my first. I call her my superhero because that's exactly what she's been. And lots of people shared, about their heroes and all, and it was beautiful. So like you can go back down, memory lane as it were. So get back to May and see what we had then if you've joined us, recently. But yes, so it's been very lovely here. And then in June, it was all really about celebrating men. Obviously, we had the Father's Day, so there was lots of, new poems. There were lots of things to celebrate men, and it was very lovely. We did celebrate women, obviously, on Mother's Day as well. Mom Code, I remember that. That was one of our very lovely poems. Check it out on the reels. Mom speaking all kinds of languages, and then we talked about fathers, being really present. It was just very beautiful, and for me that's the joy of it all, because it's really about families. And I strongly believe in raising and strengthening families, because that's the foundation of the society. And so come July, it was time to meet the techie doctor. So this was like a proper formal introduction where I then shared a bit more of my formal, my professional story. So me leaving my medical career, transitioning into tech, and how the journey is going. I think there was maybe a bit of an abrupt pause there because we just had a few series, and yes, it's something that it's much bigger than that. So if you've met the techie doctor and you were wondering, I know there were lots of questions around, oh, how about that? And I did really want to put out much more about it. And trust me, in 2026, you will hear much more from the techie doctor. So if you are here probably because of the career journey and all of that, or like transitioning and career mentoring and all that, then there's room for you, because there's so much more that we will be doing in 2026. So you'll hear much more from the techie doctor, and we will learn together. And then in August, it was school holidays. Oh, that moment, right? With children all around every single day. And as exciting as it is, you really love being with them. And then you also really love it when they're in school, because you then get some time to yourself, or like you can actually concentrate on your work and all that. When you work from home, you would know what I mean. So working with them. Yeah, but it was really lovely. And the focus then was the When Your Child Becomes Your Life Coach series. So we had this beautiful series where we were really just learning lessons from everyday interactions with children. So like how my 5-year-old will tell me something very straight, very clear, exactly what she means. And it's like, when did we at some point in our growing up lose that and then become adults who shy away from, we just lose our voices. Oh, and then I remember the Finding Your Voice, personal story shared. It's been very lovely. Honestly, I've had so much fun doing this journey and really just doing it with you and walking the whole path. So there was a lot more lessons from the When Your Child Becomes Your Life Coach series. You can check those out again. It was mostly in August. And then we had September. So the When Your Child Becomes Your Life lesson, obviously after the holidays, had birthed the, back to school, a new session, a new season. And we thought, okay, let's spread love again in any physical action. And we thought, okay, children are returning to school. Why don't we just do something, no matter how little? And of course, we opened up another giveaway, and we had some winners who received starter packs for their children, or, children around them to get back to school. So that was lovely. October, November, yes, there was further inspiration. There was more, love and life poems. There was more inspiration. There was baby speak quotes. There was a whole lot just going around. So yes, there's always something here for you. And Yes, you just don't want to miss it. So keep sticking around and let's keep spreading love and keep being inspired together. And then here we are in December. I bet you've enjoyed it so far. In December, we chose to just make it our month of honor. So we had lots of sessions, or lots of things about just going back in time, reviewing our year and all that. And more importantly, honoring people. So we did call out a lot of, you. So you must have seen your name on one or two posts just saying thank you to you for being here, for what you've done. We see you honestly and we appreciate you. And we did have times to appreciate, communities as well. We opened the floor up for you to send in your dedications and stuff. So if you wanted to send out a shout out, we were very happy to do that for you. And yes, we did get some responses. So yeah, thank you for all who participated in the honoring people. Because when you honor people, then you know that there's a way it just makes you, it just shows how grateful you are. It makes them feel special and everything. So if you haven't and you still want to, it's still a couple of days till the year end. So we will potentially still just say season's greetings or a happy new year message to someone you'd love. So yes, you can still reach out. But then that's us here. So that's the roundup of our year, just in a few minutes summarizing what we've been up to. So I hope you've enjoyed this session, and come 2026, come 2026, we're coming back bigger, better, stronger. So there's going to be a whole lot more. 2025 was great, but then it will be greater. The glory of 2026 will be far better than this year had been. There'll be more fun, there'll be more exciting things, there'll be more to learn, more value. It will be, I can't explain it all in just this quick minute, but maybe in the new year, yes, in the new year, I definitely will be seeing you again. So keep loving, keep living. Let's get into the new year fully recharged, fully ready. And we will catch up then with much more. Keep loving, keep living. Love and life. Thank you.